Okay, so I went back to the same coffee shop. I don't know if you heard the last episode, but last episode, I had a guy from the coffee shop give a little message to Draymond Green. Well, I asked this guy, I went back to the coffee shop, and he said, you know what, I want you to put my name on your podcast. This is what he said to me. So I walk in like, hey, yo, Storts, hey, yo, Ben. And there he is. His name is Dominic. And they like to call him Danforth Dom. So Dom's like, hey, yo, Ben, come over here. Quick. I'm like, what is it, Dom? He's like, oh, listen. So we had your podcast. We put it on the Samsung TV. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, we had it playing all day on loop. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. He's like, yeah, it's pretty fucking funny. You put me on there. It's fantastic. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing, Dom. He goes, listen, can you send him another message for me? I'm like, yeah, Dom, I can say whatever you want. I don't know if he's listening, though. It's Draymond Green. I really doubt it. Yeah, whatever, Ben. Just send him a message for me. I'm not asking you to flap your mouth. I'm asking you to send a message for me. I'm like, all right. What do you want me to say? He goes, tell him my name. You just want me to tell him your name? Yeah. Say Danforth Dom is looking for you, Draymond. Welcome everybody back to the SportsEthos Toronto Raptor podcast, and I'm your host, Mr. El Hoopo, the ELHOOPO, and I'm here with, of course, A.Rod, A-R-O-D, and Mr. Max Profit. You better pay me. And listen up, everybody, we got a real special guest again, and he comes all the way from Georgia. Let's go. All right, everybody, just be quiet for a second. I got to do an intro for our very, very special guest today. I'm not going to say his name right off top. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run it down here. If you're searching on Google or you're searching the internet, the World Wide Web, and you're looking for an Atlanta Hawks podcast, you're probably going to see a few. But listen up. There's only one you should be listening to. There's only one Atlanta Hawks podcast. I swear to God, I've been listening to it since they took it over. It's the SportsEthos Atlanta Hawks podcast hosted by Tim Ogles and a man named Mikey Kabrinsky. These two lay down the X's and O's like dead bodies get laid inside of a casket. Laid out. The information they pop into your ears stick in there and the seed grows. I didn't know much about the Atlanta Hawks, but I listened to 2 podcasts, and I left a fan. Not only knew some information, but I left a fan. Listen up, everybody. We got Tim Ogles from the SportsEthos Atlanta Hawks podcast in the building. Everybody give a salute. Tim.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Nice welcome right there.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for joining us, and we all can just shit on our own teams. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, man. Well, let me set the table here. So, Atlanta was in town for a quick little 2-game mini series, and we've already all spoke on your end. You spoke on the game 1 where Toronto smacked you, waxed you, and cooked you up and fed you out to the dogs. But then game 2 came, which was just this past Friday, and it just got reversed. Raps had 104, Hawks had 125. I'm going to start with you, A-Rod. What did you see? What did you feel? Any positives, any negatives? Lay it out for me, my friend. Or no, first, what am I doing? Lay it out in one word. We do this, Tim. We like to describe the game, the vibe with one word. Give it to me, A-Rod, one word.
Expected.
Yeah.
Expected, because... nothing ever nice happens here in Toronto, so I have to go with that. Watching the game was pretty funny because in the first quarter, I believe it was Matt saying, you know what, Raps been giving up a lead or giving up at least 30 points in every first quarter, and then right on cue, Atlanta just goes nuts, goes for 30, and then from there, it just felt like it's just all rudimentary, just going as expected, man.
Yeah. What about you, Max? 1 to 10 words. What do you got?
I'm gonna be positive, and I'm gonna say potential.
Hey,
I say potential because when I was watching the game, I seen a lot of emphasis on Matty Barnes being the leader of the offense. They were focused on getting Matty Barnes the ball. Matty Barnes was being aggressive as usual. I like
Scotty
that.
Scotty Barnes.
Oh, Scotty Barnes. Sorry.
I was like, who's Matty Barnes? This is my stepbrother. Like, who do we have out there?
Matty Barnes is the announcer. Matty Barnes is the announcer.
Matt Naylor, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, Scotty.
The king, I know it's disrespectful to the king of Toronto, Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
brain freeze right there. But I like how he's the leader of the offense. That's really good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the
yeah.
rest of our team is trash. Um, we're not playing good defense. We're not hitting threes. We're disorganized. We look dizzy, like
Dizzy.
literally dizzy. Like like not knowing left from right, up from down. We look dizzy.
Yeah.
But I think, with the trades and all that coming up and Matty Barnes being the shining star of the team,
Scotty
that's,
Barnes, Max, Scotty,
Scotty.
Scotty. I don't know who this Matty guy is. Who is this guy? Suspect. This guy's foul.
That's who we're
But
trading
yeah,
for,
man.
man.
Yeah, that's who we're
Scotty.
trading for. Yeah, Matty Barnes.
Yeah,
That's the name of the
it's
episode
Scotty.
now, Matty Barnes.
It's just Scotty, man, and everybody else can go. That's my new attitude. It's just Scotty, everybody else can
Everybody
go.
else can go. All right, I like it. What about you, Tim? What'd you see on your side of the thing? So it's going to be fun to have you on here. So what was your perspective of what you saw with your boys? Or you can go on the other side too, but what's one word you could describe that game?
Surprised.
Hey.
Hey.
For me, as a Hawks fan, the Hawks were on a 5-game skid. Things were not looking good. The Hawks had to change the starting lineup again to a big man lineup where you started 2 centers, and
Wow.
it's one of those things where the Hawks, without Jalen Johnson, has struggled defensively night in and night out, giving up 135 pretty much nightly, and it's quite embarrassing to watch as of lately.
Yeah. I think with me,
135?
yeah. I think with me, my one word, it's not one word. I've used it before, but I only pull it out when it's the truth, and it's booty breath, and it's booty breath because it's just dirty. It was gross, and it was just poo breath. You know, when somebody, you're on on the subway and you can smell somebody's breath like 4-5 people away. Like, you got to get that shit fixed.
Yep.
That's what this game was to me. Like, this was poo breath. It was just not fun to watch. It was one of those games. It was like, and I knew it was coming. And again, they took my Friday night. You know what I mean? They took my Friday night. I sat there and I felt
That's
positive.
right there.
Yeah, it's like, listen, man. I was like, I'm gonna have to call my cable provider and tell them, like, anyways, poo breath.
Yeah, they
All
fucked
right.
up the pizza party, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, man, I had 2 beautiful, because Friday's my cheat meal night, and I just went in, and I was like, oh, it was perfect. Had them all laid out. Had my hot sauce out. Shout out to North of Brooklyn Pizza. Anyways, okay. So that was that. But all right, what I want to do here is I want to bring up some points of the game, and then we'll go into the next segment. But you brought it up, Tim. There's a guy on your squad, Jalen Johnson, that I definitely feel that I listened to your last podcast, and I don't know if I said the stat correct on our last ep, but did you say that since he went down, the Hawks are 1-7 since he went down?
Correct.
Man. So he is an integral part to what's going on down there in Atlanta, isn't he? Why don't you speak on him a bit and what he brings to the Atlanta Hawks?
Since then, the Hawks are 2-8. I think that with Jalen, he brings versatility. He's a power forward that can handle the ball. He can shoot the ball, and he can carry. He's a phenomenal passer, and something the Hawks have. Even with guys like DeAndre Hunter, have struggled to find that dominant wing, and he's been something really good for them.
Yeah, and I want to go across to the other side. What is the problem with DeJounte and Trey? Why can't these two just work it out? Go have some bonanza together, all you can eat, and just have share a laugh and just get along or something. Because to me, from an outsider's point of view, when I'm watching the game, it feels like when they're both on the court, one of them's a ghost. They're not like the one's going hard and the other one's just kind of like in the corner, just sitting. Like, what's going on with these two? It's just not working, or what?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. Both of them are point guards, and
Right.
the Hawks front office knew this when they made that trade. They're trying to use DeJounte as a shooting guard, and it just doesn't work. It's quite frustrating because DeJounte, to be effective, he has to have the ball in his hand, and the same thing for Trey Young. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm picking Trey Young over DeJounte Murray any day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Hey, what do you think, A.Rod? You agree with that, or what I see shaking
I'd
your
have to
head?
say so. I mean, I would agree. I think Trey Young is the more supremely skilled player. I think DeJounte's a better defender overall, but most guys are better than Trey Young at defense. But I would rather see Trey Young with the ball in his hands. You know what I was going to ask you, Tim, is how do you feel about Quinn Snyder as a coach?
I had that. Yeah.
You know, it's been kind of interesting to see what they're trying to develop there. But I mean, you're the guy that watches the Hawks games regularly, so I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love the Quinn Snyder pickup as a coach. I think that he's got the guys believing in his system. You could tell in and out every game. They're picking up on different details that they weren't the game before. I think that it's still kind of a learning curve right now for a lot of these guys because the Hawks used to run drop coverage on defense, having Clint Capella. He's probably one of the best drop bigs in the NBA, and they stopped running that. Now they're showing everything on the screen and not dropping, and that's really kind of designed for Onyeka Okongwu, but Clint Capella's been running it. I think the Hawks tried to trade him in the offseason, just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
You know who I like? He doesn't do too much, but I've liked him since I think he was in Houston before. Gary Bird. You got Gary Bird sitting deep on your bench there, Mister. What's his real name? Because I don't even know his real. It's Gary Bird. What's his real name?
Garrison Matthews.
There it is, Garrison Matthews. This boy can shoot though, and I think he had 6 points in this last game. He looked nice. He's a nice little piece, and I think you got a little bit of a steal there to have in your deep bench. I don't know. We don't have to talk too much on Gary Bird, but that's just my opinion. I think you got a nice little shooter right there. I think that's just coming from a Raptors fan where we don't have any shooters. I think we have like one. We have Grady, and Grady right now he's in his own head, so I don't know what's going on. What about you, Max? What did you see in this game besides Matty Barnes really sticking out to you?
Yeah, shout out to Scotty.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that when Murray is on the court and Trey is not effective as a shooting guard with Murray playing point guard. Like just like on paper, I thought that would work out, right?
Yeah,
but it's not. Yeah. It's not playing out like that. So I'm surprised it didn't.
Yeah, you know who works better is Bojan and Bogey and Trey seem to really play off each other real nice. Whenever he comes into the game, it's just those two kind of just like they have fire. Those two
have the same kind of attitude. They have the same kind of. Murray seems more cool, like too cool for school type
cool.
of. Yeah.
Bogey's a true shooting guard.
True.
Yeah.
He fits.
I threw it up on the Ethos Raptors Twitter. I said, listen, would you do straight up DeJounte for Pascal? And I asked Tim, and he's like, done. Right now, done. What do you boys think of that? I know we touched on Max wasn't in the last episode, but A.Rod, what for those who didn't hear your response last time, what do you think of that swap right there?
Done. I can see why Tim would say that. It's a better fit for his team because you need a guy like Pascal to bounce off of Trey, for sure. But DeJounte on our team, man, that would not work, especially with Scotty. Like you can't have two guys trying to handle the ball and like develop Scotty, and then have OG just hanging around, not even learning how to dribble after like 7 years.
It'd be too much. It'd be too much. No. And I think Mona in the city, the White Vegas up here, would just like be a little bit too much for DeJounte. You know what I mean?
You don't think he'd be a better version of what y'all have with Dennis right now?
Well, Dennis isn't even a point guard. I mean, we don't have a point guard.
Dennis for me is like a rental, man. He's like an Avis car. You just take him for a year and then send him back, man.
Yeah.
I think Murray would improve our team. I don't know if he's the answer, but I think he's better than what we got right now. I do think that for sure.
Well, of course, yeah. But anyway, you know what we're gonna do, Tim, A.Rod, Max P. Let's get the fuck out of this game, okay? Because it's kind of aggravating me a little bit, so I want to get out of there. So yeah, good riddance. Next game, Rap Charlotte, and blah blah blah. All right, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I got a question for you guys. Besides you, Tim, since you're down in Georgia, you wouldn't know this answer, but I gotta ask my boys this question right here. I've been having this bit of an itch, boys. A bit of an itch. It's underneath my knee. It's real strange, and it travels up my leg. And I just want to know, I then get a headache, but then I'm like, Is it because of my protein? Do I have to switch my protein? Do you guys know anywhere that I can fix this itch and get some new protein?
I know where you can get hydrated, man. It's the easiest spot to go to, man. Get hydrated.
Where?
Popeye supplements.
Hey, Popeye supplements. Listen up, everybody. For your supplement needs, if you want to get rid of that itch, just walk into Popeye supplements and tell them, hey, yo, Bobby, hey, I got an itch. You got something for this itch? And I swear to God, boom, 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 they'll have something for your itch and your protein. So go now to Popeye Supplements in Toronto, find what you need. And this next segment, This or That, is brought to you by these people, Popeye Supplements. I can't even talk today. I've been with my 2 kids all day. I'm exhausted. My brain isn't even working. So here's the segment, This or That. All right. Tim, I don't know, you said you watched an episode before. We do fictitious street fights. We match up 2 players, and I want you to, it's real fictitious, more for fun, okay? So I want you, and you give us your answers. So today, we're going back to a fight that was in the last episode. It's a street fight between 2 current players, 1 current Raptor and 1 current Atlanta Hawk. Who do you think in a street fight would win this? We got Dennis Schroeder, who is an ex-Hawk, against a current Hawk, Bogey. So we got Dennis Schroeder versus Bogey. I want to in a street fight. Tim, lay it out. Who you got?
Give me the Serbian sniper.
Huh?
Give me the Serbian sniper in both.
Okay.
So you got Bogey on that one. Not even a question, huh? You're not giving Dennis a chance?
No. We've
said,
seen Dennis's show in Atlanta before.
Okay.
We don't need no more Dennis in Atlanta.
Okay. All right. What about you, Max? Who do you got? We got Dennis Schroeder against Bogey. Who do you got?
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go with Schroeder off of being underestimated with the sneak attack. Schroeder wins in the sneak attack with the lucky punch.
Hey. Yeah, Bogey comes in for the kill, and then Schroeder's just like bang, bang.
Yeah, I think Schroeder might do something slick, even a sucker punch, not even a lucky punch, a sucker punch.
He would do a sucker punch. What about you,
Like
A.Rod?
before the fight starts, you know what I mean?
With a butter knife.
I'm going to go with Schroeder, man. I'm going to go with Schroeder, man.
Hey. 2-1 for
Is this a
Schroeder.
hometown bias going on here? What's going on here?
It's not the hometown bias. just a gut feeling. I'm agreeing with Max on this one. That sucker punch might be coming, man.
I have no question of who's winning this fight. It is Bogey all day. Look at his eyes. This guy right here is going to eat you up. He's going to destroy you. Look at this guy. He's gonna hit a 3 in your face, and he's going to stomp you down right on the curb. Just bang.
He's definitely the favorite. He's looking like homeboy in Rocky 4. You know, I must break him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Drago. Drago. All right, next one. This is a classic right here. This is a big one. This right here is this is big. Who is the best in-game dunker between these 2 legends? We got Dominique.
In-game dunker. Whoa,
in-game
whoa.
dunkers.
Are you really going to do this?
I am going to do it. Dominique Wilkins versus the great Vince Carter.
Oh, man.
I know.
In-game.
In-game. So we're not talking dunk contest. I'm saying in-game dunker. Vince or Dominique. A.Rod.
You know what, man? It's too hard. I'm going to have to go with a tie.
God.
In game, they were both super special. Like I remember seeing, those Dominique highlights, crazy package.
Dominique was crazy.
And then VC when he first came, I mean, he was doing some shit that nobody ever seen.
He was flying.
We took VC for granted. He was doing some stuff every night.
This was before he quit on the team, so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you actually have a tie.
Man. I'm gonna go with a tie now.
That's huge. What
I
about
don't
you,
want
man?
disrespect either.
I'm gonna go Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Just because I think Vince Carter did more like comic book superhero stuff.
He did.
And Dominique Wilkins did more like street thug legend.
Yeah.
Like the stick up the like Dominique is the best stick up kid ever, and Vince Carter is like just something out of a comic book. You know what I mean?
He wasn't real.
Yeah.
He wasn't real.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Dominique or Vince? I know Dominique down in Atlanta is a god.
Mm-hmm.
Dominique in Atlanta is like a god, but I
Yeah.
think I'm going to disappoint some of my Atlanta fans right here.
Whoa.
I'm going to go with a former Hawk in Vince Carter as well.
Yes. Good answer.
I would go ahead and tell you that that dunk on September 25th, the day before my birthday in 2000 in the Olympics, was one of the nastiest dunks in a live game you'll ever see.
Ever.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Ever.
Crazy.
What he did to him. And the reaction of his teammates, Kevin Garnett, for one, who's the point guard in the back? It doesn't even matter. That I'm with you on that one, Tim. That dunk alone. For me, it's no question. It's Vince, and it's just my favorite in-game dunk. Actually, it's a strange one, but remember the Clippers one, the alley-oop from like half court, and he cocked it back. That one right there, and that's when they were a traveling show. They were a circus. At that point, when the Raptors went anywhere else on the road, everyone was going to go see them. We were the talk of basketball. We were the talk of sports. We were the talk of
We were
sports world.
spoiled rotten those times. Spoiled rotten.
Spoiled rotten. We didn't even know what was going on. Half
We
the
didn't
city
know what
didn't
was
even
going
understand
on.
basketball. They just knew Vince Carter. They're like, oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, boy, he's amazing. He's so fun to watch. Yes, oh my God. But okay, so that was a clear win for Vince, except A.Rod. He put the tie. Yikes. But I get why he did it, though.
Oh, come on. Dominique is such a legend.
Legend. All right, we got
It's
another
hard to,
street
you know?
fight. I don't know if this is disrespectful. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't do this, but I don't take it wrong. These are legends, but I'm not doing it because they're short. I'm just doing it because they're legends. So we got Muggsy Bogues in a street fight against your boy Spud Webb. So we got Spud against Muggsy. Old school against pretty old school as well. Who do you got in this fight? Who do you got, A.Rod?
I'm going Ty again, man. These guys are too nice, man. They're too much of a nice guy, man, to be fighting.
They may not fight. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, man. I can't see that. I can't see any of them duking it out, man.
They just might not fight. Yeah. What about you, Max? Who do you got?
Oh, man. It is so hard to see any of these guys fight. I used to see Muggsy Bogues on the club scene all the time.
Really?
And whenever, and like, all the basketball players would club like the day before the game. And sometimes the night after, too, if they were flying the next day. So you would see NBA players all the time on the club scene during that Vince Carter era. Yeah. And Muggsy Bogues, the security guards in Toronto, I don't know if you know, are very, they don't treat celebrities very well, security guards in Toronto.
No, they don't.
Muggsy Bogues used to get punked off quite a bit. And he was such a nice guy. He would never make a scene. Like
he was like pinball nice. He was like pinball nice. Yeah,
he was such a nice guy. He'd always say something funny and defend himself, but he would never cause a scene. So
then Antonio Davis got him in, though. I bet Kevin Willis got him in.
Man, Muggsy Bogues is a nice guy, but I'm gonna give it to Muggsy Bogues just because he got that down south accent. The down south guys gotta be able to fight.
Boom. What about you, Tim? You got Spud Webb versus Muggsy Bogues. Who you got in a street fight if they actually fight?
Give me the 1986 dunk contest champion.
Okay.
And I think that Spud's got that dog in him. You don't get to see him much, but hey, Spud's got that dog in him for sure.
Yeah.
These old Hawks jerseys are some of the hardest jerseys ever. These
Yes,
man.
most
They're
definitely.
nice.
That old Hawks jersey, you're right.
That one right
I don't know
there.
what that and the Seahawks. The Supersonics, maybe.
Yes.
It's man.
All right, for me, I'm going Muggsy. I'm just going hometown just because Muggsy was in Space Jam too. You mentioned that last episode. Muggsy is special, man. Muggsy was like every kid's like just growing up. It's like, well, I could do that. You know what I mean? But that's just our generation.
Before
Steph, yeah. All right, one more. We're going down south for some music. We posed this question last episode to Slang, and Slang went one way, I went the other, blah, blah, blah. But Max, you weren't there, so I'm going to pose you and Tim the same question. We're going down south for two classic albums from Atlanta, and I want to see where you're right. We got Goody Mob Soul Food.
Ooh-wee.
Okay, yep. To Outkast, A.T. Aliens. Who do you got, Goody Mob or Outkast? What do you got? I don't know. It's a tough one, man.
Very tough.
I know.
Give me Outcast.
You going Outkast?
Mm-hmm.
Outcast in Atlanta is, a staple. I think Goody Mob is a great story in Atlanta, and they're great people. They do great things in the community too. But Outcast, living legends here in Atlanta.
Just something else, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I told you guys last time I went
Yeah,
down
you
there,
did.
man. Literally,
You did.
like, I was at my hotel and the concierge was like, "You going to that Outkast concert tonight?" I'm like, "No, I didn't even know they were in town." They looked at me funny as if I like insulted them.
Jeez. What about you, Max? Who you got, Goody Mob or Outcast?
Oh yeah, man. Outkast is a very, very special group for me. When I
Yeah.
had the Southern Playalistic Cadillac music album,
Man.
homies was laughing at me. Like, what is that? What kind of album cover is that? Who is Outkast? I used to get this so heavy with their first album because they were like more, they were big, but they were more local.
Yeah.
AT Aliens is when AT Aliens is the album the East Coast discovered Outkast.
Yeah, they
People in
became
the
superstars.
Northeast, people in the Northeast discovered Outkast on their second album and acted like they were down from the beginning. I seen it happen before with my own eyes. You know, people that were laughing at me were completely dick riding on the AT Aliens album.
Yeah.
And so like I gotta give it to that album because it blew Outkast up like with the bougie so-called fans. You know what I'm saying? Like they got even that crowd. You know.
I was a huge both fan of both, but I was a huge Goody Mob fan. Cell Therapy to this day, that's still one of the greatest songs I think.
Oh,
ever
isn't the
produced.
video
Dungeon
for that
Family.
just crazy?
Oh,
The
my
video for
gosh.
Soul Therapy, we got to be
my
paying with our
gosh.
phones now and all this mess.
They nailed it, yeah. But I'm going Outcast as well. I already said the story why last episode, so I'll keep it at that. All right, so boys, we're gonna get out of there. Thank you, Popeye Supplements, for that this or that segment. But we have to get out of there, and we're gonna go around the NBA right now. I got 3 points I want us to touch on right here. The Pistons have lost 22 straight because they're dog shit, and we got Minnesota Timberwolves are absolutely stunning the league right now, and I thought maybe we could touch on that. And one last thing, the Poolishness, Jordan Poolishness, and the Wizards actually won a game. So why don't we start off with that? The Wizards and Jordan Poolishness won a game last night. Did anybody watch this game? Anybody see the highs? Anybody have something to say about it? A-Rod, I see you
Hey, that's a
smirking
sick
right
question, man. Did anybody watch this game? Well, you already know the answer to that, man. I seen the box score. I saw he dropped 30, and I was like, okay, good for him. One game.
An efficient 30 at that, too.
Whatever, man. He'll be
I
back
know.
to the clunkers soon enough, man.
Yeah.
I can't watch
see
that guy play basketball, bro. Like, that guy's so erratic. It stresses me out watching him play, man.
We need Jordan Poole, though. We need Jordan Poole. There's always a guy in the league. I remember the dude, Sean Elliott, was that his name, with the Spurs?
Yeah,
There was always a guy that's super annoying. You know what I mean? There was a white guy who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day, too, man. In the Jordan era. In the Jordan era.
Yeah.
Not
Was it
Elo.
Craig
No,
Elo?
not Elo. This guy was more like opinionated than Elo.
Dan Marley?
No, that was
No.
Phoenix.
No, okay.
He was one of those
I don't know,
guys.
I
He was
don't
kind
know.
of like a Danny Ainge type dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Jordan Poole because he's a pool. You know, he's acting a
he is.
pool, pooling around.
What about you, Tim? What's your take on Jordan Poolishness?
I just wonder what bad he was on the sideline because it seems like that's the only thing he played.
Yeah, he is. He's baddies over buckets for sure.
Yeah, he's so easy to read, bro.
I think I figured it out on him, though. I think what it is simply, you know how Mike Tyson, he fought a few fights and he had the itch, like his balls were burning? I think he's just getting some dirty girls out there in Washington, and he's just not being smart about it. And right now he's playing hurt downstairs. and that's just going to throw your shot off. Like, imagine you have just a stubbed toe. Now imagine your balls are on fire. Like, you're not going to be able to shoot. You're not going to be able to do nothing, man. Yeah.
I bet you a lot of NBA players deal with that problem.
That's what I'm saying. So they're not going to throw that out there, too. That's not going to be on ESPN. Like, oh, Jordan Poole's balls are on fire. Like, they're not going to do that.
But when they're in LA, Toronto, Miami, they're clubbing, you know?
100%.
They're out.
They are out. All right, what about the Pistons 22 straight? What's your take on what's going on there? We always have to do a Pistons check, man.
Listen, I'm not changing my opinion on these guys, man. I honestly don't think they're that bad. Like,
No.
I think the pieces are somewhat there, and I like the coach. I think they're just going through what they're going through, and it's going to take some time. I'm not gonna throw him in the bucket just yet, but it's hard, man. It's hard to say. I mean, some nights they just look like they're giving up. But one thing, I got to go on a little bit of like a side rant here. What? Joel Embiid, man, I can't stand this dude. Because you know what? Every game he's questionable. Every game he's questionable to play. Yeah. And when they're playing some shit team, like the Pistons are right now, this guy will come out, drop 40, and everybody will be like, best center in the world. But he's playing some summer leaguers, man. And then when he comes down to playing real dudes, and in the playoffs, this guy just folds like a lawn chair.
Yes, sir.
So,
I'm glad you said that.
That's just my side rant right there.
That's now on Nick Nurse to handle, too. So we'll see
that's
how
from me, man.
Exactly. What about you, Tim? I saw you shaking your head right there. What you think?
Yeah, for the Pistons, they come into Atlanta Monday, and with an injury-riddled Hawks team,
you may be the one.
I'm a little nervous because I don't want. Look, the Atlanta Falcons just lost to the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-12.
No, they didn't lose. They did.
Yeah, and it has been rough in Atlanta for the last couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh!
Oh man!
Speaking, you guys are speaking football. I spoke on Danforth Dom at the start of the episode. I forgot to tell you, he actually has a tattoo. This is real. He has a tattoo of the Pope wearing a Ravens jersey.
That's a little bit intense, man.
Oh no, this guy, all he does is run numbers. That's for you, buddy. That's for you, Dom. Anyways, okay, yeah, the Pope with a Ravens jersey on. It's crazy. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to talk about was Minnesota. They are a surprise of the year, I must say. They got their shit together, so to speak. They got Gobert playing real nice right now next to Karl Anthony Towns. They got an old ass point guard doing really well, just setting the team up nice and Conley. I mean, what have you guys noticed? Did you even know this was going on? Like, what do you think? What do you think?
I've been watching. Go ahead, A.Rod.
No. You go ahead, man.
Go, Max.
I've been watching Minnesota for a few years. Like, I used to watch Minnesota, Charlotte, Memphis, Sacramento. Mm-hmm. You know, just start waiting for these guys. Yeah, waiting for these guys to bubble up. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm glad Minnesota's finally starting to really look like not a team with potential, but just a good team. Period.
Yeah, I'm just happy that it's working for them because they have a real nice fan base in Minnesota that, that type of fan base that sticks with them through the hard times too. So it's good to see they got a squad running right now. All right, so what we're gonna do now? Next game is Charlotte. And what about you? Is your next game Atlanta Hawks? Next game is Detroit. You were saying? Is that the next game?
Yeah, Detroit on Monday night at State Farm Arena here in Atlanta.
Okay, why don't you let us know what is your prediction? Do you think that they're gonna lose to the Detroit Pistons? Like, for real?
No, I don't think they will, but I think that it is highly possible.
Yeah.
The last game, Clint Capella missed and Bogdan Bogdanovic missed, and the Hawks are riddled with injuries right now, with A.J. Griffin out being, personal reasons, Jalen Johnson being out. It's been really tough sledding for the Hawks as of lately.
So it could happen. Well, fingers crossed it doesn't, because I kind of feel like we're riding with Atlanta now, just because we're.
Yeah. It's like, hopefully Atlanta doesn't lose to Detroit. Let's go, Atlanta.
Let's go. Well, on the Raptors side, we have Charlotte on Monday. So it's Charlotte is here in Toronto, 7:30 p.m. So what do you boys want to see? What are you boys expecting to see? Well, what's the vibe?
Who's our like toughest guy on the team right now, man?
What, in a fight or just like on the court?
In a fight or on the court, man. Who's our toughest guy?
Toughest guy?
Got to be
Darko.
Sorry, who?
Darko, our coach.
Man. I don't know. Pick any one of these guys, man. I just want to see.
I do like our coach, man. He's a G.
I just want to see one of these guys just sucker punch Miles Bridges, man. I can't stand that guy, man. Like, just the fact that he's playing and everybody's cool with it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this guy, man.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Like, it's one thing if you get some accusations and like you get proven like it's you didn't do it and whatever. But like the fact that they got some hard evidence on this guy, he pled no contest, everything.
Yeah, the no contest.
And I seen what he did, and I was like, nah, man, that ain't cool.
Yeah.
Somebody just.
There's
No,
very
you know-
few crimes where you're like you don't really understand it. You know, like
Yeah.
that's one of them where it's like, oh, you did that. I can't even see where you're coming from. You know.
Yeah, it's straight up, man.
By the way, I want to put this out there. Did you know the Raptors just signed Michael Porter Jr.'s brother?
Oh.
Jonte, I think his name is Jonte Porter. He's playing for the 905 right now, and he's got a nice shot. I'm telling you, this guy, he looks nice. We'll see. But send him out there to knock Miles Bridges out. Yeah, fuck him. All right. Well, boys, that's going to be it for today. I want to give a moment right here to Tim. Tim, first of all, I want to thank you for coming on and jumping on with us and chopping it up and talking hoop. And it was a lot of fun to have you on, my friend.
Thank you, Tim.
Hoopo, Max, A.Rod, I appreciate all y'all, letting me come in and join in, and I've had a blast. It's been awesome.
Please take this opportunity, though, to tell everybody, the listeners right now, where they can find you, what your podcast is. Just spill it out there for everybody so they can actually go out and find you.
Yeah, so you can find me personally on Twitter at TimHawks23. You can find me and Mikey. We do Atlanta Hawks Daily Podcast on the SportsEthos Atlanta Hawks podcast. You can find that on Spotify and also on Apple Podcast and wherever you find your podcast.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
It's been great.
Awesome. All right, boys.
Awesome.
That was a lot of fun. And if they don't knock Miles Bridges out, why don't we go get our ski mace and go down to Scotiabank tomorrow night? What do you think?
We'll go down there, those three of them, like what was that? True. What was the Masterpiece group?
TRU.
TRU. That's it.
Yeah.
Ski mask stuff.
Yeah, man, that was a great album. I'd go to Michigan to get that album. They just wouldn't let that one cross the border. That one. All right, Tim. Thanks, my friend. And this was another episode of the SportsEthos Toronto Raptor Podcast. I'm your host, as usual, El Hoopo, ELHOOPO, and that was A.Rod and Max P. And of course, a big thank you to Tim Hawk, the host of the SportsEthos Atlanta Hawks podcast. That was a lot of fun, and please reach out to both of us on Twitter. Bye-bye.